Math is more than just numbers. It's more than just formulas and equations. Cliche as it sounds, there is clearly more than that. Math is a subject avoided by many because it's a constant headache and it's difficult to fathom. But our group will be debunking that. We'll go through one by one to see how the lessons in this semester can be integrated in our everyday lives. Let us have logic and reasoning first. Before the semester started, I was told that Math 10 will focus more on statements compared to number sentences. This brought me joy because I personally am not good with numbers. And all of a sudden, I was greeted with if and then statements, more symbols that are possible in writing sentences, and more situational problems. One way or another, this can serve as a guide for making better decisions, thinking rationally, building arguments, and solving complex problems. As for sets, this topic was no stranger to anybody since it was first discussed back in our elementary days. However, throughout our education journey, it just became more complex and more information was added. As we know, sets helped us with sorting things out, especially in terms of comparing and contrasting stuff. This can be also used in choosing which option is better for an individual. You can clearly visualize the differences and similarities of the variables. This can be easily used in shopping for items, wherein you can compare and contrast between two brands or which item you need more than the other. At first glance, these two may look like it could cause a headache, like numbers and patterns. But in my experience, I've come to appreciate them more. People who love drawing can have a deeper understanding and more knowledge about shapes and patterns and how these can help them become better artists. As for numbers, facts are always presented with these and are often used to support their arguments. This will take a lot of practice, and this subject is the first step for us.
While we consider the qualitative aspect of the social sciences most of the time, I learned that we can actually use numbers to help determine important decisions that would affect our entire community. Mathematics has a way to provide a more consistent and easier process for crucial parts of society, especially with resource allocation or voting. I think this is an important feature of mathematics to know about because it gives students from the social sciences a reason why they should still know about mathematics, and it's not just restricted to programs in the sciences. Learning how to apply mathematics in the social sciences is a skill that will be proven useful for those whose best interest lies in the betterment of society. When we did the group reportings for shapes, I was interested in how math was imbued in the development of ancient civilizations up to now. It's fun for me to learn a new aspect of shapes that do not rely solely on the formulas and computations that come with every triangle and square that I was used to in high school. For once, I was exposed to the historical development of geometry over the years, where we surprisingly learned that despite having different civilizations, they still managed to reach the same conclusions which explain and describe shapes in the mathematical perspective. This further strengthens the idea that mathematics is a part of nature and not man-made. We discover mathematics, not create them. We find out that certain numbers stay consistent despite applying them to different values. We find that different phenomena can be encompassed in formulas, helping us predict the answers to inquiries which involve numbers. In fact, I'm reminded of this one YouTube video who manually added dots of whiteboard marker just to see how many dots are needed to fill up the whole board. It took him a long time to do, and used up a lot of whiteboard ink, but he finally filled up everything and came to a conclusion after making thousands of dots. However, I realized that it was an easier method to use mathematics for this. He simply could have calculated the size of the dots as well as the length and width of the whiteboard to easily reach the same answer with a simple calculator. I remember a famous line from my mother when I was a kid, and it goes like, "People are either good at math or good at English, and no in between." I had the same sentiment since, and I had this assumption that the humanities and mathematics do not intertwine. In fact, I started developing a bias towards the arts and humanities instead of STEM, thinking that I have no use for mathematics if I were to pursue a career in UMS. However, I learned from our modules in our first assignment in Math 10 that how we comprehend artistic beauty is directly related to mathematical concepts of beauty as well. We subjectively perceive beauty in multiple art forms, be it in music, dance, weaving, architecture, and more. Somehow, it is coded into our mind whenever we evaluate whether or not an art form is beautifully made or not. Surprisingly, the concepts we've learned in mathematics are applicable in describing such beauty, as proven by the previous group reports. Moreover, the application of mathematics in art could be observed with how patterns are executed in its forms, whether it would be from symmetry, repetition, or even turning an entire music piece upside down and still sounding pleasing to the ears. It also explained why Dadaism and abstract art are considered controversial, as they purposely deviate from the mathematical concepts of what makes art pleasing. Ultimately, mathematics can be a guide for artists to master their craft, while the arts could prove that math can ultimately be used for describing and explaining how people collectively decide what makes something beautiful.
Mathematics is often viewed through a rigid lens, seen merely as a collection of abstract principles and numerical computations. However, mathematics is more than a course you are required to take in college or a subject you hate because of its complex concepts. Mathematics is a necessity, and in order to completely understand mathematics, we need to be aware of the issues and trends surrounding this field of knowledge. One of the most enlightening aspects of these issues and trends in math was the exploration of ethnomathematics, which revealed the dynamics between mathematics and our culture. The dominant narrative that positions mathematics as a Western value-free and universal discipline was critically examined. Works like Alan Bishop's Western Mathematics, The Secret Weapon of Cultural Imperialism, and Paul Lusgarda's studies on African geometrical thinking challenged the Eurocentric perspective. These readings highlighted that mathematical concepts and practices are deeply embedded in cultural contexts. For instance, the mathematical ideas in African cultural artifacts and the sophisticated calendrical systems of indigenous American societies highlighted that non-Western cultures have made substantial contributions to the field. This realization compels us to appreciate the diversity and cultural specificity inherent in the mathematical knowledge, which often remains obscured by a Eurocentric educational framework. The topic also addressed the growing significance of technology in mathematics research and pedagogy. The use of computer simulations, digital libraries, MOOCs, and mobile technologies are transforming how mathematical knowledge is accessed and understood. While these technological tools can significantly enhance conceptual understanding and engagement, issues of access and readiness present substantial challenges. Not all educational institutions, particularly those in underprivileged areas, have the resources to incorporate these technologies effectively. Moreover, the readiness of teachers to utilize these tools varies widely, impacting the potential benefits that students can derive from such advancements. This technological divide underscores the need for policies and initiatives that ensure equitable access to technological resources in education. A critical issue explored in this topic is the impact of socioeconomic status on mathematics achievement. Research consistently shows that students from lower SES backgrounds face significant hurdles in developing academic skills, including mathematics. This disparity is attributed to differences in access to resources, quality of schooling, and supportive learning environments. In the Philippines, the issue is particularly pronounced. Students from economically disadvantaged families often attend under-resourced schools, have limited access to extracurricular educational support, and face various socioeconomic stresses that hinder their academic progress. Addressing this requires targeted policies that provide additional support and resources to low SES students, ensuring that they have equal opportunities to succeed in mathematics. Moreover, the topic also highlighted the importance of culturally relevant education for Indigenous people. The approach of integrating Indigenous knowledge systems and practices, or IKSPs, into mathematics curriculum, as outlined in the Philippine Department of Education's policy, is a significant step towards making education more inclusive. Programs like Pamana Ka for Mangyan students exemplify how culturally tailored education can promote better learning outcomes and respect for cultural diversity. In the Philippines, where issues of social inequality and democratic challenges persist, this approach to mathematics education is particularly relevant. By integrating social justice themes into mathematics curriculum, educators can help students like us develop a critical consciousness and empower them to contribute to societal transformation. Reflecting on the multifaceted nature of mathematics has profoundly reshaped our understanding of the subject, revealing its depth beyond mere numbers, formulas, and equations. While often perceived as a source of frustration and difficulty, mathematics is a fundamentally concept intertwined with our daily lives and broader societal functions. The semester began with an emphasis on logic and reasoning, which was a welcome shift from the usual numerical focus. Encountering if-then statements and symbolic logic offered a refreshing perspective, highlighting how mathematical thinking aids in making rational decisions, constructing sound arguments, and solving complex problems. This foundational skill surpasses academic boundaries, providing indispensable knowledge in various real-world contexts, from everyday decision-making to complex problem-solving. Diving into the concept of sets illuminated another practical aspect of mathematics. Sets, although introduced early in our education, have evolved into powerful tools for organizing and comparing data and information. This ability to classify and contrast variables is not just academic but practical, aiding tasks such as shopping, where one must evaluate and choose between different options effectively. Another significant revelation was the intersection of mathematics, society, and culture explored through ethnomathematics and mathematics in voting, challenging the Eurocentric narrative, the rich mathematical traditions of non-Western cultures, and the mathematical principles embedded in cultures such as African and indigenous American systems highlighted the universality and cultural specificity of mathematical knowledge. This understanding compels to appreciate the diverse contributions of different cultures to mathematics, often overshadowed by the dominant Western perspective. Other than that, of course, there's also the significant contribution of mathematics into arts and humanities, wherein we have learned that mathematics plays a significant role in creating our art, such as poems, music, dancing, weaving, and even architecture. In conclusion, this semester has revealed the profound and multifaceted nature of mathematics. Far from only being a rigid collection of abstract principles, mathematics is deeply embedded in our culture, technology, and social structures. Understanding and appreciating these dimensions enrich our perception in mathematics, revealing its essential role in fostering rational thinking, cultural appreciation, technological advancement, and even social justice. Through this reflection, it is evident that mathematics is not just a necessity, but a profound field of knowledge that permeates every aspect of our lives and society.